this before we've had too much.
I love it. So
Right?
how
That
did
was
you guys
pretty much
meet
the
each
gist of
other,
it. I
and
was like, perfect.
how did you
Perfect.
guys meet each other?
We've known each other since high school, and we kind of, reconnected, and she's been thriving and loving it. She's a nurse practitioner, and needs the energy, and to be a mom and support her kids and, have a little something extra for herself. So, yeah, so I'm super excited that she is taking the chance on us, and we're going to do it. I'm pumped for her.
Okay, let us know when you want some, like when she starts doing some posts and things, so we can go love on
I
you,
will.
Maureen. Welcome. Okay, you guys. So this weekend, most of you saw that we had an Orlando event. And first of all, it was what was the strangest thing for me was I was just I did speak in a small spot, but I was just a participant, and it was so exciting to see. There's a whole, like over the last 2 to 3 years, a whole new group and energy around new people and learning new things. And the thing that I really took away, though, was such a big, huge appreciation for our diversity on our team, for the different the we have we have so much value and superpowers. And the thing I walked away with is we have so many amazing, incredible leaders on this team that as I'm listening and watching, my thought was this team can have anything that they want with this company. And so the first thing that I'm going to share that I took away was Lindsay Coggins talked again about the simplicity of her fives in social media. And Blair's going to put all the slides up and do a training on each one. But we're going to pop through the people that were there. If it's something that you're like, I need to know more, we'll share more. But when Lindsay talks about her fives, she talks about the five big things in her life. And it's like mom life, Great Danes, being a wife, home decor, and there was one more. And I was like, that is so simple. So many times we keep it so, oh, we've got to have like this crazy amounts of content. So I was like, okay, mine is like, I talk about ageism, that I kind of make fun of age in a way, and like really tell people this is not the end, this is the start. So that's part of like the almost empty nest mom, that piece of being able to believe in yourself at any age. And then and I'll go, you can, the rest of my fives, like different things. We'll talk more about that, but just thinking about like the simple things of your fives. But then when I started, then the next are the five things that the product does. And most of those things will go into her stories or weave into her five. So like, oh, I'm a mom. So she's a young mom, patience, energy, focus to have that life. So that's how it combines. And when I think about my fives with the product, how does, like, if we look at that age thing and being an almost empty nester, oh, well, joint support, menopausal women feeling like that dread of no energy, that piece of it. A big piece for me has been mental clarity, has been thinking clear again and having more focus. Another piece is simple for the long term. So simple product. And then, and so like that goes with one of my big things is joining teams at like tennis teams and being active with groups of women. That's a huge thing for me with connection. So you can see how those product pieces work in. So think about your five areas, like Kendra, grandma, teacher, finding love, like being like so in love with your partner and finding and rediscovering like those things, baking, if that's your thing. And then you go into the fives of the product, and then the fives of what the business part of it is for you. So she has a YouTube video on this, but my challenge for all of you is to just quickly think of your fives. You don't have to be really, she's like, it doesn't have to be super interesting. What are those fives? Because then what you're going to hear tonight probably from someone is, oh, well, now that I'm talking about fit over 50, and I can look at those hashtags and do some work in that area. So you're going to see some trainings in there. So my job for you guys is to just brain dump. And on the fives about you, ask somebody that knows you well, like, what is something that I always talk about that I all like? Maybe you're a couponer. Maybe you are someone that always talks about, like, you've written children's books, whatever it is. But think about, if I was to come to your house and interview you, what do you always talk about? And using your authentic sense of humor, because I think sometimes for me, it's like, oh, my content has to be so interesting. When actually I get more thrivers when I talk about golden retrievers and Oliver and share reels and then go follow golden retriever followers. And next thing you know, they're like, what's that stuff in your stories? So think about that. We are going to go to welcome to Melissa. Oh, Joni, will you welcome Melissa? Tell us VIP, who is halfway to VIP. Where are you, Joni?
I think she stepped away for a second.
Oh, she did.
I'll introduce her. I'll jump in.
Okay.
No. I'm so sorry. I had to get into the kids real quick. Yes, Melissa, halfway to her VIP. She's still got 5 more days, and she's just strategized with me, and she's doing absolutely amazing. And I would love to welcome her to Team Life Change.
We are excited to welcome you too, and I would love for you guys to, the newer VIP, to do an interview in the customer group this week of your stories. So that's a great way to get people looking and watching in the customer group. Okay, I'm trying to plug my light in. I am going to, I'm going to have Haley start. It was so great to see Haley. You guys, if you don't know Haley, like, she's like a superwoman. She jumps on a plane, flies across the country for 12 hours, and then literally you had 24, gets in a plane and flies back. And she's going to share something she learned about customers.
Okay. All right. Hi, everybody. I am Haley, and I've been doing this almost 3 years. And yeah, it was a great training. One of the best trainings I've been to. I actually went to the one out here in California, and then I wanted to experience it with my team because it was so good. So a few nuggets that I got about customers, and then just getting new customers is, the first tip was about mindset. And I think it was Hannah Kress who asked, is there anything else in your life that changed your life that you don't talk about, that you would not talk about? So this was gold for me, because some of us are hesitant to share. And but if you think about it, there is nothing else. Like my kids have changed my life, right? I'm talking about them all the time. And so it's this kind of mindset, so that you can unapologetically talk about the products, in conversation. And so the next tip that I have, just beyond that mindset, and Hannah said, when she shares her story, she starts out, girl, it's life-changing. Like, that's the way she says it, but don't be afraid to say exactly, with the passion that we all feel for this, what it's done for you. And so then the next tip that I have was from Haley, and this also has to do, another gal named Haley, she spells it different. But she had some good muscles. Anyway, so she was talking about just abundance of customers, right? Finding new customers. And she goes to other events, she goes to events, she's got things that she does. And I love what she had to say about it. She does different events. So, like, let's say she goes to the gym. She will go purposely to the 9 a.m. class one day, to the 12 p.m. class another day, maybe hit the evening class on Wednesday. And so that she's getting different people, and she's constantly meeting new people. And so whatever activity she's involved in, she actually has different purses with different ready samples for whatever that activity may require. So let's think about it. So if you're at the gym, what are you going to need? You're going to need maybe some heat. That's a quick action. And then she's mixing the heat, or, she's doing the heat without water, and people are like, hey, that doesn't need any water. Oh yeah. Or if she's going to use circulate, she's going to mix it in the class so that people see what she's doing. If you're going to the spa, have some chill on you. Or if you're going, to meetings or something like that, So she has different bags packed with quick samples so that she can start talking about the product and share, just like, and she said, it's just like if somebody offers you a stick of gum. Sometimes people don't want gum, and that's cool. Maybe they'll want gum tomorrow. And so just that kind of mindset and having your stuff packed and ready to go so that you can share just on a moment's notice. Because how many times have we been like, oh man, I want to share, but I'm not ready. I don't have the stuff. I wish I could share this with you. And this worked for me. I had a business trip in Dallas last week, and this was before the tip, but I brought a bunch of extra Thrive, and guess what? I was giving it to the gals. They all had hangovers and stuff, and it was awesome. They felt better, so that's why, you got to be prepared. The next thing that I thought, and it was near and dear to my heart, because I'm always trying to do well by my customers. Hangover kits. Yes, hangover kits. Very smart. I know when I went to Vegas, I had hangover kits. So, but this is more like implementing your daily life. Sorry, that's a comment from Erica. Okay, so the next one is just customer service. So I was really blown away by the level that these top earners, the level of their customer service. So they were talking about every single time their customer orders on auto ship, send them something. So there was one lady who sent them like a full size product. I thought that was not quite attainable for an average person, but what we can do is create a little sweet little goodie bag, right on a card, because those auto ship customers are key. All of us need to be thriving for free. We want to make sure they feel appreciated. We want to make sure they're getting the results that they want, because some people, they're going to need more than just the basic 3 steps to start feeling the results. So it's a good practice anyway to start sharing these products, and it also helps with the with your upgrade orders. One thing that I personally have always done in my business is, as soon as a new customer orders, I wait about a week, and then I send them a package with a bunch of different upgrade patches and some other items that I think they need. And I wait that week so I can kind of figure out, are they going to, how strong am I, how big is that package need to be to get them feeling better? So that's something, just kind of up the notch on your customer service. And then wasn't it Blair who said she gives Thanksgiving cards? She sends out Thanksgiving cards saying, I'm so grateful for you. And, I'm so grateful for your supporting my small business. And it differentiates her, because nobody sends out Thanksgiving cards anymore. So we all left that thing being like, you know what, I got to order some Thanksgiving cards. And then she goes and she does holiday cards, making sure that she knows, either generic or make sure she knows what holiday they celebrate. Because not everybody does the same. And so those were really key. And then the last thing I'm going to touch on is Lynn's Coggins and her sampling, and the way she manages her customers and her funnel. So, so what she does is she sends the sample link, and she says the fortune is in the follow-up, when she uses the company samples. And so they basically, she gets an email when their sample shows up. And so coincidentally, she's going to be texting them right on that day. And she makes sure that she gets the sampler in her phone. So she has their phone number, and she enters them in the phone, and she writes, if they've got a sample, like in the notes, sampler, or she writes customer. And so that she can easily access these samplers and update them on, with a quick, hey friend, thought you might want to check out this cell. So she can easily pull up who sampled and then who got converted to customer. And as she finds out, okay, well, this person, so she'll write them as they get their sample, and she'll say, or I know, or hey, have you received your sample yet? And then she says, when are you planning to start? And she programs that into her phone, and then she checks up on them on that day. And so that's a better way to track your samples. So those were the 3 things for customers and just gaining customers that I found the most helpful.
Thank you. And you guys, something that Elise taught me on what Haley was saying about samples way back in the day. And I think Cliff and Melissa, you were at one of our trainings, where I buy one of those big desk calendars, because then, and I take a sticky note, and I can see, I move the sticky note on the day of the sample. And I even write on and I have it saved in my phone as sampler Sarah Smith, like Haley said. So then I go to text and I can keep notes on that sampler. But when I see that calendar, all I do is like, that's the first thing that I do is because I'm going to say the night before, I'm going to say, put those capsules next to your bed, send me a picture. And I send them a little picture of that. So if you're a visual person that doesn't want to be like inside your email, we learned a few things like Nicole Prince has like 185,000 emails and she missed her first video with Lavelle because they emailed her and she didn't see it. So that's an idea too for your sampling, and the fortune is in the follow-up. Thank you, Haley. Something I want to, I'm gonna throw it over quickly to Cliff and Melissa. This was like your 482nd training and retreat. I know you said you weren't going to talk, but or you didn't tell me you were talking. Thank you also for today. We had a car towed and handling all emergencies. Like you're going to get, if we had patches for like the troop leaders, you guys were going to get that. But after all the trainings you've been to them since the way back in the beginning, what was one thing that was different here that like you guys have said, this is what we're going to be doing?
Can you guys hear us okay? I think our signal is like super bad tonight.
We can hear you.
Okay, all right, good, good. Well, I would have to say, I mean, first of all, thank goodness everybody got home safely today because it was a little crazy at the end of the day. But I would have to say, you know, after 4.5 years of going to retreats and trainings, you know, I always think, oh, I'm going to walk in. I know all this stuff. I've heard all this stuff before. But yet, once again, this weekend, blown away by the level of information, training, knowledge that was shared. Once again, there were several things that we wrote down. Actually, I don't have my notebook open right now, but I'll let Melissa share a couple. But there were so many things that we came across that we probably had a list of 20 different things, actions that we're already taking. We've already taken a couple actions today. But I would definitely challenge everybody, especially as Melissa's going to share one or two of them, but never think that you're not going to get something out of a weekend. It is totally worth it. I mean, outside of the amazingness that Beth and Blair do by putting us all in a house and letting us hear each other's story and making friends and really connecting.
By the way, Cliff had fully painted unicorn multicolored toenails. So that was something that was really the highlight of my weekend.
I always love that. So, all right. So I'll be quiet.
He's a girl dad.
Melissa, if you want to check a couple of things.
Okay, so I felt like the IPAs, knowing, I mean, we all know what IPAs are, income producing activities, right? And the fact that, I'm trying to remember who said this, I didn't write it down. I think it was Lynn's. She was talking about it, but the way she does her 3-2-1s, like I know that we have our 5s lists and, you know, those are great. And I love that. But for her to break down the 3-2-1s, the 3 likes, 2 comments, and 1 story interaction with, and we're going to do it with our hundreds list.
Yep.
Because we have our hundreds list sitting right over there. And we're going to start using the 3-2-1s on every single person in our top 10 block. And the fact that you have ones and dones and then your core IPAs, that once you get certain things done and you don't have to do all of your core IPAs every single day, that you could break them up by Monday, you do this amount and this stuff. Tuesday, you do this, and Wednesday, you know, so on and so forth. So I really liked that. Well, I share the ones and dones.
Yes.
Ones and dones. Okay, so the ones and dones that she had said.
She said she will share.
Oh, okay.
No,
Never mind. I thought that was somebody else asking.
No.
But yeah, I felt like that was a huge thing,
Share what one,
like aha moment for me.
will you
you
share
have
the one
something
and
else?
done, Melissa, what that means?
Oh, the ones and dones and the 3-2-1s.
What does it mean when she said one and done? Like her interactions, her.
I hope you can hear us better than we can hear them.
I know it's breaking up so bad. Okay, so the ones and dones are like the things that you get done first thing in the morning. So that way you don't have to look at it anymore.
Now she's stuck. Okay, Ash, pick up where she left off.
My notes are probably not as in-depth as hers in this, because I knew that we were going to be sharing the graphic that we shared in the team chats. But like Mondays, maybe that's where you do interactions with those that had commented on your posts and stories. And then maybe for your stories, you show your 3 steps that day. Tuesday, you might network. On your stories, you might do before and after. Wednesday, you do your 3, 2, 1, and then your stories you talk about samples. And so just simplifying it, I think it's perfect because, you know, looking at doing 3, 2, 1 anyways for these working Zooms and keeping it shorter, this is going to fit perfect. That concept's going to fit perfectly in with, you know, with what we've got coming the next few weeks. Is that I don't have any more in depth there, Beth, so I'm not sure if there's more you wanted to add.
That's perfect. And we'll be sharing the slide and showing you. Blair's gonna like give that breakdown for you guys, and the working Zooms are gonna go to, for the most part, Power 30. So you'll get that done in 30 minutes. So what else did you, we'll just move over to you if we get back to, if Cliff and Melissa get back to the Wi-Fi world, we'll go back. So what was your takeaway and what's your action step that you wanna share?
Yeah, first of all, I just want to say, Erica, that was what you said. You've accidentally left Thrive in the break room before. I accidentally left my empty box of detox at my last conference in the hotel room with accidentally my business card next to it. I don't know if it'll go anywhere, but you never know. So, you know, first off, I just want to say that in watching because this is my first training, I've been to retreats and I've been to all those things, but I've never been to like a local training like that before. And to hear everyone giving all the golden tips, but here comes Blair and Beth with the heart of things and taking it back to connection. And I was like, man, these are our leaders. Like, this is amazing that this is the people. And Blair's teaching the CAP method, like all these common things. And I see people scribbling notes and I'm like, I'm so blessed to have, you know, these leaders here on stage talking. So it started out with Drew. He had everybody say, I am a leader. And when we think about it, and I know when I started, I thought, oh, you have to be, you know, 4K, 12K, 200K to be a leader. Well, no, you're a leader right now. So everybody, if you haven't written that down on the piece of paper in front of you, please write that down and say that to yourself in your morning gratitude and affirmations. You're a leader right now. Just do your steps. You're already behaving like a leader moving forward. So that I thought that was very big and profound. Okay. So there were Lynn's was talking about this, the mindset and taking it from I am Lynn's, I take Thrive, to I am Lynn's and I'm a thriver. It's that switch of, you know, I don't just do this Thrive and here's this Thrive and by my Thrive. It's this is my life. This is my belief and the thriving out loud. And so thinking in those terms of thrive is a part of me. It's not all of me. It's all these other things that that Beth was talking about earlier. You know, it's the mom, it's the, you know, I love golden retrievers and all those things, but thriver, I'm a thriver and I have that thriving belief. Tristan Brooke talked about, and I love this topic. I'm glad she did it because I think there's so many people that can relate. It's how I work my business as an introvert. And she talked about the confidence and the belief and borrowing confidence from others. And so understanding your strengths and your weaknesses and borrowing from others and sharing their stories as you're trying to build your own. But really, she said these 2 questions. And when she was approached about this, being an introvert, even just doing this training, she said, how can I grow if I say no? But also, how can my team grow and learn from me if I say no as well? So knowing, you know, and the introverts, you know, are getting on stage and talking about this, I'm like, if that doesn't humble you, I don't know what will. And then two other statements stood out to me. One is that passion is not pushing, right? We think that we're bothering our friends. I don't want to send this text because they might be at dinner or they might be at work. What are they going to think? How are they going to feel? No, whenever you're that thriver and you've got that belief and that confidence, you're passionately sharing. It's not pushing. So take that out of your mindset because it's a mindset thing holding you back. And then lastly, we talk about consistency, and I love, love, love this word. And I've used this word a million times myself, but was it Liz that was talking about it? She was saying that it's something that stick well with her in this word, and being being consistent on social media, because consistency, when you look it up, is doing the same thing over and over. Which, how are we going to grow if that's what we're doing? So replacing that word with persistent, being persistent, staying persistent, because that's how we're going to grow, how we're going to learn, and how we're going to get more thrivers, to thrive with us and help people.
I love it.
That's all I got for you guys.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Ashley. So when I want to point this out is when you look at, look at our leaders on the stage. So the biggest thing is that what Lynn's decided to do, you can decide to do. And that's what Beth Bolus is going to talk about in our local community. But you are ready to, like, we have every leader on here could train in an area. We went around and said, what's your superpower? And so they just decided, and then they decided, let's invite other teams. Oh, let's invite other leaders. And Blair and I were like, oh, we're from the area. We'd like to train. There were millionaires that didn't get on that stage. And we're like, and that is ask for what you want. And then if you are thinking, boy, like I want to get my team together, and whether you have, and Dana Shuva, who's a 200K with like 18 200K leaders on her team, at 200K, she had an event with only her mom. So when you think about that, it was literally, corporate doesn't call and say, hey, let's put on this event. They said, let's put on the event. They said, hey, let's do it as a training. Oh, let's have Drew come. So you start that and you have 5 people. And I'll tell you, in a year from now, you'll have 155 people sitting in those seats. So become that leader that if you're like, I'm going to wait until, no, start now. We did it in Julie's living room when we were like 4Ks and didn't have a clue. We'll Zoom in. You want a leader to Zoom in to Alabama? We will Zoom in and help you with what it is to get your business started. So be a leader. And if you're like, I want to do that, make your own stage, right? Create your stage. And with that, I want to go over, Beth is in the car driving, but one thing that I want to share, because she said she wanted to share something else, is when she was in Vegas, she's decided, I want to have my story on a official Lavelle video, and she put it on her vision board. And when Lynn's came to us and said, we're looking for, and she described this exact story, somebody that's been persistent, perhaps it was a longer road for them in the promoter side, because their story became so powerful and they have a huge transformation and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, and there she's sitting next to me. And I said, well, here's Beth Bolus's story. And she's like, that's perfect. And the next day there she was being interviewed by the big corporate video team. And she just happened to have like this beautiful change of clothes dress in her bag. So she put it on her vision board 3 weeks ago. And we didn't even know the video team was going to be there. And now we'll have that story, which I think is so huge. So vision boards do work. And I was so excited to see Ashley Bolus there taking notes, working hard. I have decided, when I saw Spring as a Millionaire there, we want to have let's get some under these youngsters. We want to give some energy to having a group of 6-figure earners that are really young and showing what this business model can do. So Beth, what is you said your action step from being there this weekend?
I have multiple action steps. Listen, I can't come on live because I am driving and it's dark. So can you guys hear me good?
We can.
Okay. So as my daughter and I were driving back, we've been talking about several things, but one of the things that really hit home is because when I began doing locals a few months ago, it really gave me, my mission is to grow my local team very strong. And upon my first local, I realized hey, I have a whole new leg here. Well, hearing, and I can't remember because I don't have my notes, who was talking specifically about going back and creating more of a tribe, more of a heart to heart, belly to belly. Let's get in the trenches together, learn what each other's, what each other's really going through on a daily basis, and how can we help each other. Kind of a lunch and grow. So we're going to set a time where we can not just do locals on a weekly basis, but that we can get together as a team and just have lunch or dinner, whether it's two of us that are getting together or whether it's a multitude of us that are getting together, that we will grow, and we're just going to set the vision there that we are consistent and showing up for each other and supporting each other wherever and whatever's going on in life.
Perfect. I love it. And then Ashley, is there anything, can you hear us? Are you next to your mom? Ashley Volas.
She is.
Yeah, I'm here.
Hi. Is there being brand new? What was your biggest moment of, yeah, I get this now, or this is what I'm going to do?
Kind of everything is still jumbling in my brain. There's so much information to really just kind of melt in. My big thing is trying to talk to people, starting conversations. I'm kind of that person that kind of sits back and I'll listen, and then if I'm comfortable with that person, then I'll jump in. So what I'm trying to pull from it also is stepping out of my comfort zone, and starting those conversations to get more customers, to get more promoters, to mom said, grow our community, because there are so many people out there who don't realize they need this. This literally will be life changing, because it has done so much for me, and I truly honestly realized it because there was a time that I actually quit for several months, and then starting back up, I was like, holy crap, there's so much I've been lacking, my energy, my discomfort, in my joints, not being able to stay awake throughout the day and do things that I enjoy doing and have the energy. So many people need this and they really don't realize it. So I want to get that story out there. I want to get everybody on it who is so skeptical of everything. There's no reason to be, because this is the best stuff you can put into your body.
I love it. Just being bold, right? Being super bold. All right. We are going to, we've got about 8 more minutes.
As we've been driving along, she is reaching out. And so she is putting into action already.
I love it. Love it. All right. So we've got about 8 more minutes to hang on here. And I know that we have is Joni back? Yes. Hi, Joni.
Hello. I had several takeaways. It was just an absolute amazing weekend. First, one of the biggest things was that your mind has to arrive at the destination before you ever will. It is all about mindset and whether or not you believe you can or can't. You're right. And then failing to plan is planning to fail. And that does not constitute an emergency or and then the one thing that really stuck out to me was, like Ashley kind of said, was passion is not pushy. Having passion and confidence in the products, having purpose and passion in this business opportunity, to have purpose and passion with this community. We all know how life-changing it is. Share your life from that purpose and that passion.
I love that. And you guys, the biggest thing is that you're going to receive, energetically, you receive more of what comes out of you, what comes out of your mouth, what comes out of the conversations that you have. And so what I would encourage you to do is, how do you get to that belief is spend time on Zooms like this, being in a stage of people that have belief, looking at the variety of people that have had success. Oh, that gives me belief. And the number one thing is go back to the simplicity of sharing the products. There's nothing that builds belief like a new thriver. I didn't have a mindset. I didn't have belief. I was running on an empty tank of gas for my for the first 7 months of the business, all the way to 200K. You don't have to wait until. I was building belief as I went, because I would literally get people started on the 3 steps, let somebody else share their story, celebrate their story. And my belief was built because of the stories that were being created. When Yvonne came on board, again, belief. It's like this jar, then you keep putting a penny in. And if you don't have any new stories and you don't have any new people on the Zoom, on the VIP 800s, or celebrating what's happening for the team, your belief is empty. You know how good you feel when someone's like, I'm finally ready to start thriving. Just say, I am here for more thrivers. I am here to have that conversation, because the more pennies that you put in that jar, new thriver, new story is what gets attracted more to you, because when it rains, it pours. So keep yourself in the area of what this energy that you hear coming off of an event, and be curious, like, oh, there she is again. That one that's like, why are you even doing this? Nobody's going to listen to you. You don't know anything about vitamins. Like, you've never done a business like this. You'll never be a leader. Be curious and be like, oh, there you are talking to me again, and talk back to yourself like you're talking to your 5-year-old self and say, you know what? That's not me any longer. And team up with that confidence. I want you guys to remember that I didn't have any of, like, I was just getting people thriving, putting people on 3-way calls, 3-way chats, celebrating the stories, and helping people to hit VIP. That was it. And it was then, oh my gosh, wait, I'm an auto bonus earner. I guess this comp plan works. Oh my gosh, there's another auto bonus earner. There's another VIP. It's knowing those stories. So we also have, who else? I'm looking at my chat of people that said that they were going to share. I'm gonna make sure I didn't miss anyone. We had Beth, we had Ashley, we had Haley, we had Joni. Anybody else that was there this weekend? Oh, Ashley Hickman, the video queen also. What was your biggest takeaway this weekend? If you're able to talk, I just put her on the spot. Where did she go? She may have hopped off. She's like, I didn't want to be called on. Renee, are you able to unmute yourself for a quick minute?
Go right ahead.
Beth, are you talking? Me?
I'm talking to you. You're like, Miss Copeland got called on.
Yeah. There were so many golden nuggets, and I think my biggest takeaway is the thing that all the leaders said is it's a mindset. You love the product, you believe in the product, share the product. You can believe, but with no action to grow your business, there will not be a business. And you just have to be persistent, and follow-ups. Follow up with your customers, follow up with your promoters, and just love on them and love them where they're at. I think that was my biggest thing. And the community, you can't, unless you're there, because that was my first leadership one, and I'm coming up on my year as a thriver. You don't, we can share with you all the time, but when they're in your hometown or a few hours away, and some people flew in, they are worth the time, because it's helping you and your business, and you're building so many relationships, and everybody wants everybody else to win. And that's what I felt, and that's what I got from it this weekend.
And congratulations for coming and to both. That's the one thing, you guys, Blair is, she's got a couple that she's got coming up, and leaders on here are also planning their own events. And but the company builds in the lifestyle getaways for this very reason. And we're going to end, we've got like 4 minutes. I don't know if the queen of mindset who is on here can unmute herself, but she made a decision to go all in because of being a guest on a lifestyle getaway, and the shift of not thinking this business was for her and being the grouch on the couch to just up leveling all of that is Yvonne, who was supposed to come, but her daughter had surgery. Yvonne, do you want to share the power of earning those getaways and then let people walk away with one thing that they could do? We hear mindset, but what is an action step to do tomorrow to do along the way to get that mindset, to get that that self-talk of I can't do this, to stop? Oh, and hi.
Hi.
I mean, so
Sorry, I'm late to the party.
if you don't know Yvonne,
My heat is not working and it's 25 degrees, so, and
Oh my
it's freezing in my house.
So if you don't know Yvonne, she reached it just last week was the year anniversary of the post. She reached out for a sample pack on my birthday and was not in a position at all to think she could grow this business. She was like happy and grateful to have a really good job that she's working nights and drinking her whatever she was drinking all night long. And she did a lot of work on shifting her health, but mindset doesn't have to be that hard. It can be as simple as getting people thriving. So I'm going to have her close us out with the importance of getting yourself to a lifestyle getaway, and second, some quick tips for that personal development so that you don't go into a spin of, oh my gosh, I can't do it until I've got that mindset under control.
Yeah. So, oh my gosh. Well, thank you, Beth, for putting me on the spot here. But
what I do.
Number one thing is I was completely sold out on the product, you guys. So the one golden nugget I'm going to share with you today is make sure you are rocking your own personal Thrive experience. If you are not feeling amazing or great, buy the 10-day detox. I'm on like day 7. It's not that hard. I'm hearing you'll have a whole new experience, or reach out to myself or somebody who's been around that will kick your butt in gear. Make sure you are consistent in having the best Thrive experience possible. Okay. That's huge for your mindset to be able to share this 100%. Okay. If you're not feeling your best or having confidence in the product, you need to get that set solid. That is what carried me through a lot of hard times, a lot of ups and downs, and just kept my mindset at least at a decent place. So make sure you're doing that. And I want to tell you as leaders to make sure that your downline promoters check in on their Thrive experience, especially if they're not ordering consistently. There are so many people in our downline that are not taking the product correctly. They're not having great experiences. They're giving up. They're not even thriving for free. And most of them I'm finding are just not taking it properly. So let's just know that that is something we have to be looking at, to just have a baseline for doing this. Okay. Because it's your passion for the product that's going to speak volumes when you do have conversations. Getting to a lifestyle getaway was the biggest game changer outside of going to my first Thrive Palooza. Why it was so special was because I got to interact with other Thrivers. I got to hear, just like the people at our training this weekend, got to hear different ways that people share, different ways that people talk about it, hear everybody's story. So when you are around other Thrivers, you want to invite any and all of them to share their stories. Just ask them. It's good practice for you too, to share your story. I learned so many tips and tricks from the people I was around, but the other thing is related to sharing your story. This is something for your mindset, but something I want you to take away from today that you can do tomorrow. And that is really know how to share your story quickly and succinctly. And I don't mean the day 1, day 3, day 10 thing. Okay. I mean you met a frazzled mom in the grocery store line. Quick story. Come up with some nicknames for your DFT. I'm telling you, this is like the best thing I ever did. I have a series of nicknames.
Will you
What's
share?
that?
Will you do your 60-second role play on that?
Well, yeah. So for example, I'm talking to someone at a church thing last night, right? And I'm like, we're just chatting, oh, how, whatever. We're just making small talk. And she says, oh my gosh, I love your energy. And I said something, she said something about my Band-Aid. Anyway, we started a conversation and I said, oh my gosh, I'd love to share some information. I said, well, this is not a good example, but I said, oh, here, I'm going to give you my phone. I'm old and I'm blind. So I want you to give me your information because I can't see it. And she goes, you are not old. How old are you? And I go, oh my gosh, I'm 52. She's like, shut up. You're not 52. And I can't remember what we were talking about. I'm like, yes, it's this thing that you just saw, this Thrive thing I've been doing. I mean, literally, check this out. Okay, I know this is weird, and I pull out my phone and I show her my before and after because I have it and I look like I'm about 15 years older in my before picture. So that's just one example though of what I'm talking about. Like always be prepared to share something quick. And that's why I say come up with a nickname for your DFT because it's the easiest thing to share and show, you know what I mean, without getting into a whole story. Like I call it my craving control patch, my super mom patch, my all day energy patch, my wearable vitamins, my gut health patch, like reduce inflammation patch. Like I come up with a million different things so that in the moment you're like always finding a reason to share with somebody. So come up with some things that aren't super awkward or organized. Okay. So things that are relatable to other people, but that relate to your story. So find those things about your story and then just think like, how could I insert it in literally every conversation? Like if it's anti-aging, right? I'm old and I'm blind. People are going to ask you like, what do you mean by that? Or no, you're not. Or like just something that relates to your story that you can share with other people. So you can share something quick and then shove that in the conversation. I mean, it might feel a little awkward at first because if you don't, and you just make small talk and then you try to introduce it later, then you're in that, I don't know how to start the Thrive conversation.
And
do you see what I'm saying?
And there was another company there and it was obviously like, I was like, I was joking around last night because there were very young women sharing and I was like, am I a dinosaur? And
that's great.
So I was like the youngest in this other conference because their product was formulated for 65 and over. And so it was a stem cell something patch of the something. All I wanted to know, what is it and how does it work and how do I get information? And she's fumbling in her purse and the poor thing, I was like, do you want to, I wanted her to come to a team huddle so we could train her. So think about that as your homework is, and maybe we'll do like, maybe I'll call you all tomorrow and be like, hey, I saw you like walking today with that DFT on. So here's an example of my neighbor saw me running today and because I'm going to run a 10K and she's cheering for me in the car. And so I sent her a text and I said, and we've got this like 28-year-old 15th wife that lives in the neighborhood that's like, looks like if you had Yvonne running down the street. And I was like, oh, did you mistake me for Lauren? And she's like, yes, I did. And she's like, girl, how are you running? And I said, you know what? It is Thrive. My knees can take this and I've got the energy at 3:00 in the afternoon. It is time. No more excuses. Like it was that easy to just say, because I've been dripping on her. So thinking about that. So mindset, like when people think personal development, mindset, and then some people go too far into the spiral of I'm going to listen to 85 podcasts and read every single Mel Robbins book and then start my business.
Yeah, no, just do something. Literally just do something. And I mean, just the simplest things, because no action will result in absolutely nothing. Right. And if it's too big of a mountain, like just do something. And my go-to is always go to your stories, pull the list of people from one of your story archives, recent, and write down every name that isn't thriving and just come up with a reason to reach out to them, even if it's just to start a conversation or comment on their posts. Just start somewhere. It's so easy, you guys.
Well, and here's the thing is action is going to get you, like, if you listen to something that's inspirational, something like that, but just give yourself 15 minutes to do it. This makes me feel good, so I'm doing it. here's the thing. I'm gonna give you the tip of the day that I have like 8 people that have sample packs in their hands because of this. I've been cleaning out the 222 photos a day from my phone. I just like chose to do it. I know there's apps that can do it. And every time I see a photo, you guys, many of you have received photos from me because I'm deleting them, but I also want to like reconnect. So I have reconnected with so many random people. And I was like, this is on my phone. Remember the field trip to St. Augustine and the headlights? Oh my gosh, how are you? So I am randomly, that was 6th grade. My son's now a junior. So I'm randomly, I know we do that with Facebook memories, but by texting, I'm like out of the blue, sending a photo from my phone. Give it a go. You are going to be blown away because they'll say like, what are you doing? Are you still everybody, are you still doing that Thrive thing? Oh yes, absolutely. I'm still doing that Thrive thing. I'm a thriver for life. Like they're surprised, like I'm supposed to go away from it. So do the photo thing. And one thing that was super powerful this weekend that we did, and we'll do again, and I want to leave you guys with this, is we did a visualization, and like there was a very emotional visualization because it was Thursday, so many of you weren't there, but we'll do it via Zoom. But think about this week that if you close your eyes tonight and think of you're visiting yourself at 85 on you land on the front porch and there you are. What is the house? What is your health like? What life have you lived? And in this visualization that we did, she looked into the eyes of you. She held your hands and she said, I'm so proud of you. Look what we've done. Look what we've built. And you're flipping through that album, and what photos are there? How do you want to be remembered? How do you want to live your life? And we're not just talking about getting through each day. It's the persistence of living that Thrive life out loud and proud. That's me, like committing to that run. It's the persistence of that connection with the people on your team as humans. And it is also getting productive and organized so that your life isn't spent scattered, trying to build a business, feeling like it's a lack of success. The organization, the way that we will be sharing with you, you can do this business in a solid 30 minutes a day, and then quick check-ins and conversations and connections when you take the time to say, I'm going to learn that skill of productivity, because you don't want to be 85 and be like, I'm still scrolling my phone looking for Thrivers, right? So thinking about what are the promises, and this is not just for Thrive, this is how you want to live your life with your value, with your core values. But it starts with, if you want to have, think about this, $350 extra a month compounded over time. Or Erica, who was able to take her Thrive money and invest it into her dream business that she has always wanted to build, and the flexibility and freedom to pick up Eloise from school. So that's one chapter. And the last thing I'll close with that was really powerful is, do not compare your chapter to somebody else's. Don't compare your chapter to Yvonne's chapter, or your chapter to Haley's chapter, or my chapter. I'm like on chapter 97 here. I've been here a long time. You get to be in your own chapter and make sure that you're just not stuck on that page, that you're moving it forward. But for every single person, it's going to be a different pace. If you have 14 kids under the age of 2 and a full-time job, it might be a little bit longer chapter, but moving ahead and moving forward, what I would manifest there are like 5 huge builders, because you don't have time, like manifest like 5 Blair Critches coming into your business, and then you're gold, right? That's the beauty of this business. So you guys have a beautiful, beautiful night. Be looking on the team page for those trainings. And we're going to be adding those videos. We've got the 12 days of Christmas giveaways starting on December 1st in the customer group. We're giving away something every single day. Terry, I forgot to bring you those things. I'll put them in the mail to you. but we're going to be giving away something every single day. So it's gonna be a great time to get customers in the group, get connected. We'll share the content. Blair will be doing a video ahead of time. And we will see you next Sunday on the Huddle or in the chats. If you're not in our Thriving Business chat, which is our bigger chat, and you finished with your VIP, because it can be overwhelming, just to connect with other promoters and ask questions and get announcements, let your leader know so you can be added to that chat. I get to harass you more when you're in that chat, send you all kinds of weird things. All right, you guys have a good night. I appreciate and love all of you, and welcome to our new people. You are hitting VIP 800, 1600. It is going to be awesome for your Christmas money, for the extras. Let me know how I can help both of you. Connect me leaders too, so that I can help with that VIP. And I will talk to you guys all soon. Bye.